Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Nate. I'm the YTH Youth Director here at YTH Church, and I am so excited to be able to finally record something for you guys. You know, I know the season hasn't looked normal, and it's been a little bit difficult. You know, maybe with school, maybe you've been all alone in the season, but I believe I have something that's gonna help you guys. You know, we've been in this CycleBreakers challenge as a church here at YTH Church, and if you guys have been in this with us, then you guys know that we have been reading a couple books. We've been reading Psalms, Proverbs, Mark, and now we're in the book of Acts. I'm going to be talking about a few different stories in the book of Mark, but the first story is going to be in the book of Mark, chapter 1, verse 40, and it goes, "A man with leprosy came and knelt in front of Jesus, begging to be healed. 'If you are willing, you can heal me and make me clean,' he said. Moved with compassion, Jesus reached out and touched him, said, 'I am willing, be healed.'" Now, I don't know if you guys know the history of people with leprosy. They actually call them leopards. And people with leprosy, they weren't allowed to shave their beard, shave their facial hair. They had to cover the lower part of the face, and they had to stay 50 feet away from everybody else. Now, this might sound kind of familiar right now with us in the season we're in. You know, it might not be 6 feet, but it's still 50. And I can imagine these people with leprosy feeling alone, feeling shameful. Because also, if you didn't know, people with leprosy, everywhere they went, they had to scream wherever they went, "Unclean, unclean," to let people know that they were unclean. Now imagine if everywhere you went, you had to yell what you dealt with or what you struggled with. You know, maybe it's like porn, anxiety, depression. You know, I would assume you wouldn't go very far. You wouldn't go anywhere. And you know, I imagine this man with leprosy, he felt all alone. He felt shameful. He felt like people were just putting labels on him and not getting to know him for him. And I want you guys to think about the type of faith that this man had to have to call out to Jesus and say, "Jesus, if you are willing, please heal me." You know, after a while, I would get tired of yelling unclean and just say, "I just want to be clean. I just want to be clean." And I believe that's what he was doing when he spoke to Jesus. He's like, "Jesus, I just want to be clean. Can you please heal me?" Whether he was 50 feet away from Jesus and yelling, "Jesus, heal me," that had to take some type of faith. That had to take a huge amount of faith. Now I want to jump over to the book, still the book of Mark, in chapter 5. Chapter 5 talks about a woman with an issue of blood. And if you guys don't know this story, this is about a woman who has been bleeding for 12 years. Now 12 years, think about that. 12 years bleeding, that's pretty outrageous if you ask me. But 12 years bleeding, and she spent all her money to get healed. She's done everything she can just to be healed. And she hears about a man named Jesus coming through her town. And she starts to tell herself, if I could just touch Jesus, if I could just get in his presence, maybe I can be healed. Just maybe. And you know, as Jesus was going through her town, she fights her way through the crowd because at this time, Jesus is pretty popular. He's known for doing miracles. He has a reputation of being the Son of God because that's the name he's giving himself. And we all know that name is true. But she's fighting her way through the crowd, and she finally touches Jesus' garment, and instantly she's healed. And Jesus realizes that a healing power was taken out of him. And out of all these people, Jesus turns around and says, "Who touched me?" And the disciples, they're like, "Bro, it could have been anybody. Do you see how many people are here? Like, Jesus, look at this crowd. It could have been anybody." But no, Jesus starts to say, "No, someone touched me in a deep place. Someone had a need unspoken because I felt healing power come out of me." And Jesus is fighting to know who touched him. He's asking everyone who touched him. And this woman, out of fear, gets on her knees in front of Jesus and says, "It was me. I touched you." And Jesus says, "Daughter, because of your faith, you are healed." Now, that also took some really big faith. Not to just go and touch Jesus, but to get on her knees and say, Jesus, it was me. I'm sorry. Like, please don't take my healing away. I touched you. And so I look at these two stories and thinking about how huge of faith these people had. And then I look at a story right in between these stories where Jesus calls out to Levi, later known as Matthew, and he calls him out to be his disciple. And it says that Matthew or Levi just left everything and followed Jesus. You know, it says that with every single one of Jesus' disciples, where they kind of just leave everything and go and follow Jesus. And can I be honest? I struggle with that. I struggle with that because how can people who have their whole lives already figured out kind of just go and follow Jesus? People who have a job, people who have a family, people who are in the middle of what they were doing to go and follow Jesus. I struggled with that. And as I struggled with this and I prayed about it, God started to bring me back and bringing my memory back to the time where I fully accepted Christ. And it was a time where I finally felt the presence of God in the room. It was a time where it was a room full of prayer. Pastor Jared was praying over me, but I felt like Jesus was praying over me. And I asked Jesus, God, why are you bringing this back to my memory? And he said, because every time there's a healing power, my presence is there. You know, when you fully accepted me, you were hurting. You were desperate. You were crying out for me. That's why I showed up and I healed you, because you fought for me. And Jesus told me, you know, I showed up because you fought. You fought for my presence to be there. You fought to know I was there. You fought for everything. That's why I showed up. And I was like, Jesus, what do you mean by fight? How did I fight for you? He said, you're a lot like those people in the story in that moment. So he said, go back and read the stories again. So I went back. And, you know, the man with leprosy, he had to fight to call out to Jesus. 50 feet away, he had to fight, Jesus, if you can heal me, please heal me. People were looking at him. He felt all this shame. He knew people were judging him as he called out to Jesus. But he fought for Jesus. And as I read the story again with the woman of issue of blood, I start to realize she had to fight through the crowd. She had to fight through the crowd to get to Jesus because she realized there will always be people hindering you from what Jesus has in store for you to be healed. And then she had to fight her own thoughts. Like, Jesus, you might already know that it was me who touched you, but I'm still scared to tell you. I still have this shame to tell you my problem. I still have this shame to tell you my need. That's why it's a need unspoken, and I just touched you instead of coming up to you. And as I went back to these stories and I read through them again, you know, I felt a sense of shame come over me. I started to tell Jesus and God, I haven't been fighting for you lately. I've been struggling in my CycleBreakers challenge. I've been struggling with my fast. I've been struggling with my reading. I've been struggling with my devotion. I've been struggling in my prayer time. God, I haven't been fighting for you. And Jesus said, it's okay, because I've been fighting for you. And again, I was like, God, what do you mean? What do you mean you're fighting for me? You know, are we in a boxing match or something? And God's all, kind of, because it does take two to fight. And although you need to be fighting for me, I continue to fight for you. So I go back to the stories again. And in the story with the man of leprosy, it says that Jesus moves with compassion. And in the NIV version, it says a different word than compassion. It says it in a word more of, Jesus was frustrated. Jesus was mad. And I was like, Jesus, you're about to heal someone. Why would you be mad? And as I read the verses after, Jesus gave this man with leprosy a command, saying, go and show the priest that you are healed, but do not tell anyone else. And you know what this man did? He went and told everyone. Like, just like me and you. You know, if I was healed, I'd be like, yo, check me out, I'm healed. Like, I'm not unclean no more. I don't have to yell it. I'm healed. I can get more closer than 50 feet. I can shave my beard finally. I'm healed. But I also asked God, why would you heal someone if you knew right after they would go and disobey you? And he said, because I fought for them, just like I fight for you. You know, sometimes you're going to disobey me, but it doesn't mean I can't fight for you. You know, oftentimes it's kind of like parents, you know, they tell us one thing, we go out and do another, but our parents continue to love us and want the best for us. You know, God wants you, even in your dirtiness, even in your uncleanliness, even in your disbelief, even in your discouragement. God is still fighting for you. And he wants you to know that you might feel shameful, that you might feel guilt, but he doesn't want you to care about what others think of you, because there will always be that. He wants you to fight for him because he's already fighting for you. And as I went back to the woman of the story with issue of blood again as well, you know, Jesus could have easily kept on his way going, you know, didn't mind his business. He could have been just like, hey, yo, it's just another healing power over me, you know? Another day in the life. I'm Jesus. What do you expect? But that's not the case. Jesus fought to know this girl. He fought to know who touched him, because he wants to make you feel known. He wants you to know that your problems are heard, even if they're unspoken. But both of these people fought. And E2 Youth, I want to tell you today, are you fighting? Are you fighting? Because God is fighting for you. But if you want to be healed, you got to get in the ring. You got to get in the cage. You got to fight. You got to cry out, Jesus! Even if it seems like Jesus is far away, maybe it's 50 feet away, you got to cry out, Jesus, I need you. I'm tired of being unclean. I'm tired of dealing with porn. I'm tired of dealing with depression. I'm tired of dealing with anxiety. I'm calling out to you because I need you, and I need you to heal me. Or maybe you're like the woman, where it's hard for you to speak up. It's hard for you to talk about the problems. You know, and you feel like you've done everything you can. You feel like you've done it all. Can I tell you, all you need to do is stretch out your hand, just like the woman. Say, Jesus, I need you. If I can just touch you. I don't know how to talk about my problems. I don't even know what I'm struggling with right now. But I just need you. And I leave you with that today, because I believe there are some of you struggling to fight, struggling to believe that God is fighting for you. But again, I want to tell you to get back in the ring. Get up in the fight. Get in the cage and fight. Fight for God's presence. Fight to get in the Word. Fight to know God. Just fight. But hey, you guys, I leave you with that. And I hope you guys receive something from it. But we are going to be doing this every week now, weekly. So make sure you're following our Instagram, our YouTube, to keep updated, because I believe you guys will receive something every week. So tune in for next week. All right, guys.